have decent health and all that stuff. So I'll probably go to the game tonight. Um, maybe grab something to eat before. There's nothing. I'm not a big birthday guy, you know, to anything like that. But just
Yeah.
hang loose.
Okay. Mark
It's
Onweiler.
it's cold, man. There ain't nothing to do.
It'll be 60 today.
Oh yeah, that's right. At like 4 for like 15 minutes
Yeah.
though. But yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
with 85-mile-an-hour wind.
Look, I need a confession. I was walking in Haymarket last night, and that was an unfair kind of cold that was happening. I only had to walk like 8 blocks, but oh boy, I got
Yeah,
to the
that hawk
crib.
that hawk was serious.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute, what is going on? So, yeah, 402-464-5685. Starter Heyman text line, Honda Lincoln hotline. Starter Heyman live video stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. You can see what's going on in studio. Rico is on duty, and Mark Onweiler is sitting in, and we'll run things until Rico gets back. How are you this morning, kind sir?
Oh, I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be sitting in with you guys.
Yeah, we'll have some fun. You get to come up with something to rant about here shortly enough.
I don't rant. I'm a happy guy.
Yeah.
I can rant about folks that don't share their bourbon.
Yeah, It was shared. You can't even rant about it.
Right.
You can't even rant about
Forcibly shared.
But Jay has a full.
Jay hasn't shared yet.
Jay has a full.
Go ahead, partake.
Jay has no. If we're gonna partake, we'll go get the open one. We'll
deal the station one, right?
Yeah, we'll deal with that one. So, of course, the Terps are in town tonight. PBA. Right. Folks know those are my people. So, it's Johnny Holiday, of course, who does the play-by-play. Chris Nockey, who does the color. And Nockey, again, he's DC basketball legend. But I coached his son in high school. And so we chopped it up a little bit. And then Danny Manning showed up. And, good evening. Great conversation. A lot of similarities within the two basketball programs.
Right. Yeah, for different reasons. I mean, Maryland's obviously had a little bit better season than Nebraska, but for their expectations, they're we're on the same level, and a lot of ways that both teams have played.
A lot of Mark Turgeon talk.
Well, I mean, look, you just very, very rarely do you see a coach that recently won the Big Ten, had a pretty good successful run there, and steps down like in the first quarter of the season or whatever, and so. That throws the team off as well. I mean, even look at Louisville, with Chris Mack. I mean, it's, right, wrong, or indifferent. When you start a season, you go through the whole off season, playing in one way and kind of, the team is formed one way. And then obviously once the season starts, there's not a lot of times to adjust. So you're always, playing behind, the 8 ball. So, but, they're fortunate enough to have Danny Manning to be there, and he had success where he was at. So,
and Danny wants the job. He wants the permanent job. That this was an interim deal. He wants the job. He's made it clear. I think they're 6-11 under his leadership, but he's made it clear that he wants the job.
Right.
Turgeon left with a winning record, even this year under the turmoil. And of course, the Maryland folks, the fan base has been very familiar to what Nebraska's doing. There's just been a lot of fan turmoil,
right?
But they're doing it with a winning season. They were doing it with a winning season,
right.
And now it's not. So they've got their issues to fix as well. I'm not sure if they're going to be full-handed tonight.
Well, it'll be good for Nebraska. I think it'll just be interesting to see how Nebraska, comes out after, having a letdown, I think, energy-wise against Iowa. You're at home. Hopefully there'll be be more of a packed house on a Friday, a little bit late start. So there isn't any excuse that it's like a sleepy Wednesday game at 6 o'clock.
What attendance do you guys expect? Where would you lay the line?
Be at least 10, right? More than 10. I know they say it's always sold out.
Yeah,
what's sold out? What's max? 15?
15 or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say 10 or more. Should be.
Text line. What do you think? What do you guys think the numbers are going to be?
I'm saying I hope it's 10 or more. I expect 10 or more. I don't know what it could be.
Yeah,
I think it's very easy. I don't mean to cut you off. Is that it's very easy for fans to be cynical. If you sit there in the stands and you just listen to them, So then it's very easy for people to say, "Oh, well, they're struggling. I ain't gonna go." But if you're truly a fan of either basketball or a player or the university, then you go and support them. It's not always going to be peaches and cream. And look, you can't, I can't get on here and say this has been a successful season or been a season that they envision from even a consistency standpoint. If they were consistently playing like they played against, say, Indiana or a team that or the game that they actually probably gave away, you wouldn't have a problem. I think that a lot of the issues or problem is inconsistent from game to game, or at least it has been, right? And I know I was a good team, and they got Murray, who's the leading scorer in Big Ten, and he's an NBA player. But everything else, it's not like they're head and shoulders, above Nebraska to the point of being, at one point in time they went on like 11-0 run. They're like, oh, Nebraska pulled within like 20 through 22 or something, So that's probably what have people up in arms. And I also think part of the deal is that when I think Nebraska, and I haven't been able to be at different universities in the off season, and this is just say the two biggest men's sports, basketball and football. I think the thing that we've done I think better than maybe anybody in the nation is win the off season at Nebraska, right? Whether it's when we hire a coach, hire an AD, and this is all the way back to even when Bo was here, because every year, I mean, our DP wasn't here. I know you were here. If you go back when Bo was here, and Bo was very successful, so let me just say that anyways, is that every year they had a new saying coming in, starting winter conditioning, and that was their kind of deal, right? And then who knows with Mike Riley, but when Mike Riley was hired and he started doing the Friday night lights and giving out a ton of offers, and
The whole
you got
Calabrasca thing.
Calabrasca, and they had Michael Parsons on campus and doing the Friday night lights. I mean, obviously Michael Parsons was the best player in the draft last year, and he's obviously an All-Pro this year. So and didn't really have a chance to get him, and with the bookie thing, we were winning a lot of off seasons. So what I think that does is that fans have kind of those. Then that came with the expectations, right? But then there had to be some sort of reality in there to where, we were talking. I know we were talking in here, and I think on the spillover one time it was me and DP and Sip, and I said, I was trying to tell him and Jake, like, this is an inexperienced team, and inexperience isn't what's on paper. You get what I mean? I mean, there's times where a guy could be a senior and never have played before. He has no experience. Just because you got on the bus and rode to all these games and never played and never traveled and never prepared as a starter, you don't have experience, right? And then the inexperience of playing together and digging out games, and the inexperience of what it takes to actually operate within the season. Because once the season starts, it's different than the off season, because you're doing if I had an analogy, it's like I was listening to Hank Haney, who's a certified grade A-hole, but he was talking about Tiger Woods, right? And he was talking about some players, when they on the driving range, there's nothing that they can't do. But then the hardest part is taking it from the driving range to the course. Now, how does that analogy fit the basketball? When you're in the off season, you're practicing and shooting without any type of ramifications of potentially losing the game, potentially having a big turnover that leads to a 10-0 run by the other team, right? You get what I'm saying? I don't think a lot of times in the off season, I'm just talking particularly about basketball. I could talk about football as well, but you're not practicing coming out of a timeout and not have the right energy and let the team go on a 10-0 run. You get what I mean? So those are things that you have to have experience with, and you can't equate that to the off season, but you can't really have the experience until you either go through it or you're actually practicing it in the season, because at the end of you're playing for something. And so that's kind of where we're at, and I think that's where the fan base can be, where they're the expectations have been up there so high that they're unrealistic to get. It's even like we just had Adrian, right? We had to I was very blunt about some of the stuff, and with him is that I think one of the things that hurt him is, like, as soon as he had that good freshman year, the next year you're talking about the Heisman.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's true. But the hardest part, if you look at rookies, is you come on the scene, and even saw it in the NFL. You saw it RG3 firsthand. You see it a lot. Even with Lamar Jackson, it'll be interesting to see it with Joe Burrow, since this is really his first year playing.
Baker Mayfield,
Baker Mayfield, where you kind of
there's a lot of that.
Right. So once these coaches can get in there and see what works and what doesn't, whether it's what they did against you or what, say, like Mark did as a defensive coordinator, as a team, or what your strengths and weaknesses are, it's totally different. And that's the same, and that's also a part of, like, in basketball, is like, as you're going through they got some really good coaches and really good players at every single university. When you look at a team like Rutgers that wasn't even on the map before the season, that I think they've beat 4 or 5 ranked teams in a row, right?
Yep.
Big Ten teams. I mean, it's serious business, and I mean, so that's a team that laying in the woods all off season. Whether the teams are showing up thinking that's a W. Well, you're coming out of Parsippany or whatever it is, New Jersey, with a straight L, and it's horrible to play there because it's you're like always in a swamp, and so.
But it happens. This is what's hilarious to me. It happens all over the Big Ten. Like, you're watching teams. We were watching Maryland's women last night. And they got ambushed.
Yeah, they got bamboo. They got bamboo. They got hoodwinked.
Right, and then this is right after they go to Iowa and
just beat the brakes off them.
Beat up Iowa
like
no end, and it's the ability to finish consistently. I would say it all the time. The toughest thing in all sports to do is to finish.
Finish. Football, basketball is the hardest thing to finish.
And when you know who your personnel is and what the schemes are and
it's
what
easier.
should be expected, it's easier, but it's not easy.
Right.
It's not easy. Like, you can look, I mean, the women's basketball team last night, you had to go down the stretch on the road in the Big Ten without everybody there.
Yeah.
And the different chemistry that's required. Like, there are a lot of assumptive things that this basketball team does that didn't happen last night. And then down the stretch where you're up 13, you need balance and stability. You can't be young and excitable. You can't be selfish. You can't. None of those things apply. And when you watch that game last night, I immediately thought of Nebraska's men. I'm like, it's so many situations that they're not sure who's going to be on the floor. They're not going to sure what the combination is going to be. They're not sure whether the things that they want to run, everybody on the floor can do in that sequence.
Right.
Happened to the women last night. You saw it where they had ball movement and they had some back cuts that just didn't work because they weren't working at the same speed that they normally work from the spots on the floor. From the same spots on the floor. So it
happens, man. I mean, look, even if, say, we're coming down the stretch and Mark is our guy that we know that, like our closer in basketball. Well, if Mark's having
I would be too.
Right. Yeah, right. Mark's got that good inside out game. He looks like more like a mid-range guy, right? He definitely
Joker.
Definitely during men's pickup. He's definitely
chubby white guy. Yeah.
He's definitely bodying you up and right. But at the end of the day, say Mark's having an off night, saying he's just one of those things. These are college men and women, boys and girls, and so now we have to adjust. Whether it's you had players missing and stuff like that from the girls or from the women's team last night. It's something they could experience, and I know the little nugget in the back of their head was at 20 wins. I mean, you got to think, and that's what we talked about. It's like that rabbit chasing the carrot. You're so close, but yet so far. The hardest thing is to close. It's no different than in the men's game. I forget what game it was. Latman had the dunk, 30 seconds left, celebrating, goes over to the bench. They go down 5-on-4, bust a three. Now it's a whole different ball game. So instead of being up by 5 with a chance to really play D and get back in transition D, now we're playing actually a defensive, one hand behind our back drill that you work on that you don't want to do with 30 some seconds left, and they hit a 3 and then you end up losing that game, right? And so that's the inexperience. And so I think it's something, again, a lot like the Iowa game for the women last night. I think that they can learn from it. I definitely think that they're going to I think their game is Sunday, going to show up with a hopefully a nasty disposition of a get right game, ability to finish. And sometimes when you look at the hardest thing for kids to do, I don't care if you're 8 years old or 18 or 22. Heck, even 28, even in the NFL or even in the NBA or any person, just in general. I mean, even in regular, just outside of sports, is how do you deal with success? You coming off a huge win against Indiana, where you beat the brakes off them and you beat them conventionally down the stretch, right? And then now you're going to play a team that you beat before pretty handily on the road. But the thing about Penn State, they were on a losing streak, but they always played the same. They always make you work for it. That's a team in Penn State, whether it's men or women's, they will sneak up on you in Happy Valley.
It was hard watching this team defensively. Let's be clear. People get caught up in the offensive savvy of having a bunch of three-point shooters and 3 rock-solid post players who do good work in short space. But this is a defensive team. That's where they excel. This is why they're doing what they're doing. And that broke down last night. It broke down last night. And there weren't any answers. And no matter what shuffling of the deck Amy did, she wasn't getting a winning combination.
Is that a fatigue thing? I mean, they've been going hard.
It could be, but I think it's a lot to do with success. And once you look,
I'm leaning with Jay on this.
You start the fourth quarter up by 10.
Yeah,
you were up 13 with 7 minutes left.
You're up there looking at the clock like, hey, let's just. But then, I mean, I think Penn State scored 31 points in the fourth quarter.
This is a little when I need to get mine.
Yeah.
Folks coming in off the bench. Hey, let me get mine now. You put a lot on 2 freshmen. Like Widener and Markowski, look, it's nice when they give you added value, but they can't be the value.
Yeah.
Like that's not how this is supposed to work. Not with Sam and Jazz on the floor and Izzy. That's not supposed to happen.
But they weren't hitting.
Right. They weren't hitting. They were 0 for 6 from 3.
The 3 guards were 9 of like 33, I think, from the field.
Well, I mean,
a lot of threes.
And look, they've had some up and down shooting games, even with Ashley in the lineup.
Right.
But not having her impacted the game. And look, it's Nebraska basketball. You don't want to lose momentum. You don't want to give away momentum. And last night they gave away momentum. Now they have a chance. There's nothing wrong that a win, this weekend won't cure. But that was tough. That was tough. My phone blew up last night from fans who normally talk about the women in good spirits and said that was an ugly loss. And there are no pretty losses, but that was uglier than it needed to be, and that's where it was. So lots to talk about there. We will throw it to break here. It will be Mark's turn to tell us what's up. He'll do that next on Old School 937 The Ticket.
You're listening to Old School with DP and J. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning now in our new time. We're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather.
Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Sunny, breezy, but very mild. We'll top out at 58. A west-northwest wind could gust over 25 at times. We'll see mainly clear skies tonight with a low dropping down to 16. Cooler tomorrow, a high of around 46, but by Sunday, we could be right back into the 60s. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Casey's General Store is giving you the chance at winning 2 free tickets to a Nebraska home basketball game this season. Stop by any Casey's location in Lincoln throughout basketball season. Enter your name into the registration box, and you'll have a chance to win 2 tickets to an upcoming Nebraska basketball game. Every drawing will occur at least 24 hours before the game that has its selected winner. So make sure to get to any Casey's in Lincoln today for your chance at 2 free tickets for Nebraska men's basketball games.
You know you want that smoky, tangy, sweet, and spicy sauced and tossed Wingstop. But you just brought a haul of groceries home from the store. It's cool. No one expects you to shop and cook in the same day. So let the flavor experts at Wingstop hook you up with mouth-watering wings, crispy tenders and thighs, fries and sides delivered to your door. You can always cook tomorrow. That's why the fridge was invented. Get it delivered at wingstop.com.
Order online now from the new Wingstop located at 5001 O Street.
Eustace Body Shop, where our customers send their friends. That's the greatest compliment we can receive. If you've been in an accident, we'll get you back in your vehicle as quickly as possible. Our technicians care about you and your family and repair your vehicle to factory standards. We handle your claim from start to finish and provide a free loaner car. Stop by for a free estimate. Eustace Body Shop, just south of 88th and Highway 2.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
Need to send a message? Send it with cake. Congratulations. Here's a congratulations chocolate rum cake from Beatrice Bakery. Thank you. Say thank you with an amaretto cake. I'm sorry that I accidentally hit your mailbox with my car as I was backing out of the driveway and then continued right into your prized petunias. You say that with a lemon drop cake. Everybody knows that. Beatrice Bakery in downtown Beatrice or online at beatricebakery.com. Here to help you say whatever it is you need to say. Welcome to our world of yum. Tune in to the Teammates Mentoring Hour each Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. on 93.7 The Ticket. Hear stories from the program started by Tom and Nancy Osborne and how it's changed mentors and mentees' lives and how you can be involved. The Teammates Mentoring Hour, Wednesday nights from 6 to 7 o'clock on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Old School with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back, Old School. On a Friday, it should be a good one.
National holiday, man.
Yeah, Jay Foreman birthday.
It's not my birthday. We got this little dude that I know his name is Brody McIntyre, man. He's a little baby face assassin. He looks like a little Ken and Barbie doll.
Okay.
It's his birthday too.
Okay.
Mike Arthur, he's a former he works at Nebraska in the weight room. A couple other friends, you know. It's everybody else's birthday besides mine. It's crazy that a lot of crazy dudes were. All the other guys were crazy that were born that I know they're on this day. Oh, and also listen here.
You see how dismissive he was that everybody else on
besides Brody.
Yeah.
Besides Brody.
Okay.
He's too young to be crazy yet, but he got a little darkness in him. But
okay.
No, I'm just kidding. You know what's crazy? My cousin, me and her are born on the same day. Chandra Lewis.
Well, happy birthday, cousin.
Yeah, that's always good.
Happy birthday. This is the time of day that normally Rico tells us what's up today. It is Mark.
Woke up this morning and I got out of bed. Had a big old cup of coffee to clear my head. Telephone rang and you wanna chat? Well, sit on down and tell me what's up with that.
Mr. Onweiler, sir, what's up?
Your cousin was born the same day as you?
Yeah.
My cousin was born exactly 9 months after me.
Oh,
so
they were celebrating your birthday.
Do a little math
there. hey.
Yeah, I have a cousin.
You inspired, so you're inspirational.
That's a good idea there.
Yeah. Inspirational.
Yeah. No, I have a cousin who has the same birthday. As a matter of fact, my grandmother and I had the same birthday.
Really?
And I was born on her 50th birthday. And so she would call me, my little birthday present, which of course set off all the rest of the brothers and sisters.
Sure, yeah.
But then I have a cousin who's back in DC, and she's like an award-winning singer, actress, performer. You will love her. I'll remind me to send you some of her stuff.
Okay.
But I didn't know that she was my cousin until, a couple of years ago. And then we met, and immediately we hit it off. And then we found out that we had shared the same birthday, and we just we became each other's favorite person. It's just, she's amazing, and I'm a fan. So she can sing. Oh my goodness, she can sing. Mark. Yeah,
you get her to do a theme song for the show or something.
She absolutely would.
Yeah,
that's a great idea.
You should have your own theme music, like your entrance music.
Walking in like Ric Flair.
Well, I have some really talented cousins. One's in a band. He's a drummer, and Brandon Garner. He's in a Earth, Wind and Fire tribute band, but he's also he's got his own band. Oh my goodness gracious! Like whenever they go live, when they're performing, they go live, and it's just the best. It's like he's a badass, and it's Earth, Wind, and Fire. By the way, I did invite Jay Foreman to Earth, Wind, and Fire. Like, yeah,
if I'm in town, or they don't got the
busy dude, you know.
When they
baseball, these little youth baseball coaches
May?
act like they're in Tommy Lasorda or something, man.
Well, they care. This is important.
Yeah,
Life
so is
changing.
basketball.
Life changing.
You got 2-3 baseball practices when it was 14 degrees out yesterday. Yeah, okay.
Really? They're outdoors?
No, but you're having mandatory practices in January, or December, January, and February.
For who?
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, you?
Well, that could be
Travel
my rant.
ball?
Yeah, it's club baseball.
But that's everything.
That's
is
normal.
Everything is travel ball now. Like you're either complete rec Y league where they barely teach you anything, or you're elite travel. There's no in between anymore.
And you know what? People that like. When I grew up playing basketball, the YMCA league was that's what you did, right?
Yeah.
And then as you got older, like middle school, our travel teams were just, Eden Prairie or Bloomington, whatever. And then we'd go and play, school ball was big.
Mm-hmm.
We played 20, 30 games of school ball because we played, one time at our home and away and all that.
Yeah.
Now it's like Mark said, everything's a club, everything is travel, and then everything has to be maximized. Like they're seeing, I'm looking at Java Chandler, like it's spring training.
So being a high school coach, I paid attention to travel ball and AAU, that sort of stuff.
You should.
But the reality was, I would put all that down. Like my thing was, I got you for 1 week in the off season. Because I coached 3 sports, so I was always busy.
Doing something, yeah.
But the players who played for me, I got them for 1 week. So football, spring football, I got them for 1 week in the spring, and we go in for summer. Baseball, if they're playing travel ball, I wouldn't even pay attention to it. Like, and my thing was, I would have those parents who showed up and said, "Well, my kid's like a travel ball star,"
right?
And I'm like. Yeah, but this is high school, and I don't care.
Well, I think the biggest problem is here locally in Lincoln is there's no continuity.
Yeah,
there's no continuity from, and this is a great example of a place that's done it and actually really has taken off in every sport is Omaha West Side. They've adopted that from the varsity coaches on down. That's what they do. Gretna's did it, and that's how you see them turning around, and they got a pretty good basketball program now, football, X, Y, and Z. So there's no continuity, right? It's like a free-for-all. And so
and maybe it's easier with a place like Gretna where everything's feeding into one high school, or even West Side where you're a standalone school in your district, But
they do it in the Omaha Metro. You see it like with Millard South. They have a really, really good 8th grade group of boys that play football.
Like I knew,
you know what I mean,
who was going to play for me.
Right.
Now I didn't.
No, you're right, Mark.
I didn't coach them. I didn't engage them.
But you knew the kids.
But I knew who was coming.
Right, and you might have known a little bit about who coaches. But you're right though, because like my high school, Eden Prairie, with Coach Grant, that's one of the things he brought from where he came from Forest Lake in Minnesota. But he learned that from Coach Girardi, that was a St. John's coach forever. Well-renowned Hall of Fame college coach at Division III St. John's up in Minnesota. So that's what he immediately started to do, was implement, a play or two here at 4th grade. Then you go this and this. And so, Eden Prairie has 7-on-7 teams and groups and in clubs and stuff like that. And they have a travel team that goes. But the crutch of it is that the high school coaches are very, very involved, very, very involved. And that's in every single city. Now, granted, Eden Prairie is probably as big as Lincoln or bigger, but it can be done. Now, you have a lot of high schools here. So there's not like Eden Prairie North, South, East, or West. There's there's a ton of high schools in Lincoln. So it's a little bit harder. But if I was a coach, whether if I was a head coach, say I don't know, do they have defensive coordinators in high school? Yeah, so. Assistant head coach. What if I was a head coach? I'm going down there and I'm getting infused, or I'm implementing myself into a youth sports, right? Now I will say this: as long as the coaches are willing for me to help, I'm not trying to coach your team, but I'm also trying to, if you're going down and helping an 8th grade or 6th, 7th, 8th grade coach, in 2 years that dude could be playing for you.
Well, and
or kids could be playing for you.
So I've always viewed that the same, what you're talking high school down to middle school down to elementary. I've always viewed that from the university down to high schools too. Like that needs to be that same relationship that you're talking about.
Utah does a really good job of that. Virginia, UVA does a good job of it.
I think they're trying to do it more here, though. I think they're doing some stuff.
They just had that clinic, right?
They're doing some stuff with which is really, really a good.
Mark, no, like he just threw that lob, right?
Really good idea to do that. One, it's mending any fences, but then two, it's exposing kids to Nebraska, gives them something to shoot for, but then also you're able to get, I guess, a quick snapshot on who's coming up. But I think it could be something they could expand on, and it's great for them to do it. And it's something that's it was easier to do when we were winning.
Sure.
Because these coaches were just like coming down to the coaches clinic and doing it. Like when you've had such drastic changes in offenses from, say, like when Coach Osborne and Frank, and then Bill Callahan was totally different. So you had to flip the whole state around to try to do what he was doing, and he wasn't very receptive to coaches. So then you went 4 or 5 years with just letting these guys do whatever, not letting it, but no, I guess, influence. And then here comes Bo, and it was more kind of the RPO, and they fell into Taylor Martinez, right? And then you had a little bit of Mike Riley that was more West Coast. I mean, right? I mean, more drop back, and so you just had like that was no continuity. So I think Scott and those guys are trying to do it. I will say this: PJ Fleck has done a good job of doing it, but doing it without overstepping their boundaries, because he knows up in Minneapolis area, there's some very, very well respected and good high school coaches. But what he's done is come in and explain to them what he does, and what he's looking for.
Well, they can get on the same page, but it's going to require that some egos be dropped. And that's the big thing. Ownership of whatever this next step is going to be is going to require that egos be dropped.
On which side?
On all sides.
I mean, there's some high school coaches that locally here in Lincoln definitely look in the mirror and think they're Vince Lombardi.
Right. There needs to be some leveling. So we'll throw it a break. Next hour, Johnny Holiday, Tom Stevens.
Rico get lost?
Rico, look, it's Rico.
Downtown's a long ways away.
Rico is talking to Johnny Holiday before they even drive the car. I guarantee you. More old school when we come back.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Alanos businesses need reliable communication, both at the office and at home. Now more than ever. Just listen to Bill Mitchner from Lighthouse.
Before we'd have breaks in service, especially for internet, but we've never had any issues with Allo. It's always been there and available when we needed it.
At Allo, supporting your business is our business. To get your free quote and switch today, visit allofiber.com/workfast or call 402-480-6685 today.
Fruitcakes are just for Christmas, right? Gosh, I feel sorry for you. I mean, what if we had done that with bacon? Bacon is only for breakfast. We'd never have bacon cheeseburgers. We'd never be able to save a salad by adding bacon bits. We'd never have Brinner. That's breakfast for dinner. Don't limit yourself. Fruitcakes for St. Patrick's Day. Fruitcakes for graduation. Fruitcakes for Thursday. Beatrice Bakery and Grandma's Fruitcakes are perfect for every occasion. Check them out in downtown Beatrice or online at beatricebakery.com. Welcome to our world of yum.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
Pleased and honored to be joined by Nebraska volleyball coach John Cook.
If Trev wasn't interested, I would have done it in a heartbeat, because I just felt like Nebraska athletics, we were at the edge of the cliff. We had to do something, get somebody in here to build this athletic department back up. I thank my lucky stars every day that Trev's our guy now.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket. 93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Sunny, breezy, but very mild. We'll top out at 58. A west-northwest wind could gust over 25 at times. We'll see mainly clear skies tonight with a low dropping down to 16. Cooler tomorrow, a high of around 46, but by Sunday, we could be right back into the 60s. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
You can search online for hours to find the best electricians in Lincoln and the surrounding area, but I'll save you time. High Electric has been serving their customers for 30 years for both residential and commercial properties. They're experts in everything electrical, from remodeling to new additions, hot tub installations, electric vehicle chargers or EV chargers, lighting, ceiling fans, and more. High Electric takes jobs from Beatrice to Omaha and all towns, big or small, in between. Call them today at 402-466-6606 or learn more at highelectric.com.
Tune in to the Teammates Mentoring Hour each Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. on 93.7 The Ticket. Hear stories from the program started by Tom and Nancy Osborne and how it's changed mentors and mentees' lives and how you can be involved. The Teammates Mentoring Hour, Wednesday nights from 6 to 7 o'clock on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
You know you want that smoky, tangy, sweet, and spicy sauced and tossed Wingstop, but you just brought a haul of groceries home from the store. It's cool. No one expects you to shop and cook in the same day. So let the flavor experts at Wingstop hook you up with mouth-watering wings, crispy tenders and thighs, fries and sides delivered to your door. You can always cook tomorrow. That's why the fridge was invented. Get it delivered at wingstop.com.
Order online now from the new Wingstop located at 5001 O Street.
You want to feel important. You want to be a part of something bigger, something that matters and can help change things. You want to feel like you belong. We know. We felt that way too, and that's why we did something about it. We aren't just Army National Guard soldiers. We are normal people just like you. But our part-time service in the Army National Guard means we get to be more. When our communities are in need, we get the chance to stand up and do something about it. We get to serve in our own region and help the people we call neighbors. Whether they are in the mountains of New Mexico, the plains of Nebraska and Kansas, the ranches of Oklahoma and Texas, the farmlands of Missouri and Arkansas, or the bayous of Louisiana, we are here for our hometowns. And together, we can make a difference. Take on your legacy. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Sponsored by the Nebraska Army National Guard. Aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association at this station.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth. 93.7 The Ticket. Coming at you live from the Koppel Chevrolet GMC studios. This is Old School. Broadcasting veteran Derek Pearson.
When you find something that moves them, that makes them smile, celebrate it. That's your task. That's your superpower.
Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score!
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Driving me crazy. It's a good thing in this day and time. Yes, in Frederick. Yeah, my grandparents are both passed, but my dad still.
Nothing's changed around here.
No.
The conversations that we were having off the air, we just continue on the air.
Yeah, the listeners just kind of get invited into private conversations.
That's right.
Welcome back to the Old School, and the voice you hear is familiar.
Hey,
holy crap!
Who are you?
Me.
Introduce yourself.
I have no idea. What is this?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's like, did I just wake up from a dream? It's like
Newhart. It's
Newhart.
Newhart.
Newhart. I was
Newhart.
thinking Dallas. Yeah. Bobby on Dallas.
Yeah.
Just walking out of the shower, and there's Jay Foreman. There's DP.
And
there's Johnny Holiday.
We have a legend in the building. And of course, Jay Foreman is just ignoring protocol. Like, totally ignoring protocol.
Hey, I used to break Terrence into Morris's ankles all the time.
Yeah, like
we'll get to it.
Never mind.
Yeah, we'll get to it.
Never mind the radio show. Johnny's got to talk to Jay Foreman.
Which should be the entire hour
That's
anyway.
Right. That's what it should be. I don't even know why we're here.
Well, because you've got.
Hello, is this on?
Yeah.
Have you seen one of those before, Johnny?
I have not. No.
You know,
this is a large microphone.
This is what we do. We make up for
if
things.
You guys can hold on a second while Jay and I are talking. So look,
right. We don't want to interrupt you guys.
Great,
that's all right. Hey, look, man, it's crazy that DP, we being in him living in Charlotte, obviously me spending time in Charlotte, living in Charlotte, him obviously be DMV. I'm DMV, and then Johnny, it's great. He was just in my hometown Friday with Frederick, and know the same people. You know, Terrence Morris that played at Maryland.
Johnson. Oh wow,
Thomas Johnson. So I played basketball against him.
Did you post him up?
No, I took him out. He posted me up. Yeah, I will say he caught one off the backboard off of me in the it was actually July 4th. We were out there playing. It was the fireworks and stuff. And but it's crazy that he obviously calls games for Maryland. And he would talk about Thomas Johnson High School. My other cousin, he went to Walkersville. So where we lived, it was either you had to kind of opt into TJ or you kind of go to Walkersville.
Were you a good high school basketball player?
It was decent.
Yeah,
I was good enough. I
bet he had game.
I was good enough.
I bet he had big game.
Power forward.
No. I was green light was on as soon as I got off the bus. Or I'd like to think so. I had a few offers to go places, but my dad told me, I'll never forget it. Went down, and what really helped me was I played on a really, really good AAU team, and I came off the bench. So on our team was Khalid Alameen, Sam Jacobson, John Thomas that played for the Knicks. We had a guy named Bebop Walker that went to Tulsa.
Which officially is the greatest name ever.
Right. Robert Mestis, who was on the team, played at Miami of Ohio.
I see why you were on the bench.
Hey, that's fine. Hey, I'm cool with it, right?
You play
and
with
then
these guys?
that was our team. We used to call Sam Jacobson. He was like White Jordan. I mean, you'd see stuff on Channel 9 News.
The White Jordan.
Oh yeah, because he was 6'6", from like 6th or 7th grade. Had 39-inch vertical, and he went to Maple Grove, and Maple Grove was like, so Eden Prairie is say like class AA. Maple Grove was probably close to like B, but he was hitting 46 points and this. So we all got together. I was 7th or 8th, and we were playing New York City Riverside. And those guys had some foul trouble, so I came in and got hot a little bit. And then next thing you know, John Chaney's was writing letters, and Bob Huggins. So I got all excited, right, and thinking about playing basketball. And remember, Wichita State offered me a scholarship, and I remember looking at it. They had Lloyd Carr went there, and the other guy, I think, right.
Yeah,
I'm
the
like,
Shockers had quite a few.
And I was like, ain't no way in the hell I'm going to Wichita, because I couldn't even find it on the map, and so my dad told me, he's like, look, and he's like, look, they only have about 9 or 10 scholarships, and if you get hurt, they usually send you home. Back then, that was the big worry. And he was like, in football, they got 25 at that time a year, and he's like, if you want to go to any of these schools that you like going, he's like, I can't afford to send you to school. And so that's what it just came down to. It was football. Football was a lot easier for me.
How many of those guys in the 90s that you played with could have played D1? I mean, obviously you had a chance.
The one that comes really, really to mind that I know, because I played against him in AAU in the semifinals, was Kenny Cheatham. Is probably when you talk about
great
height,
wide receiver.
Height, weight, speed, overall athletic.
Yeah.
He had full ride to play at Tennessee, both basketball and football.
He should have played in the league. I don't know how he didn't.
I think it's just a little bit of injuries. And, Nebraska wasn't a passing team. If he was coming to Nebraska now as a football player, he would be next
6'4",
level.
220.
6'4.5", 220.
Yeah.
Could do everything,
Yeah.
But, back then you played multiple sports. Like we were talking about in the segment before, my dad always told me that what you do in basketball will help in football, and what you do in football will help in basketball, and doing track and all that other stuff, and a little bit of baseball all helps. Now we're just talking about it is that guys play one sport, and I don't think it's the right thing to do, but it's almost like you have to do.
Johnny, you were a multi-sport athlete.
I had athlete's foot. Yeah, I played football, and I know Jay's going to look at me and say, "You got to be kidding me." He played. I was a quarterback. Okay, 5'8", 145 pounds, soaking wet. The backup was 126 pounds.
Fair.
New high school, North Miami, Florida. So we started off with 7 through 10. Then we added the 11th grade and the 12th grade. So in our sophomore year, everything we did was a record. When I go out to, so I'm a record-setting quarterback. I scored the first touchdown. I threw the pass. I can hear.
You good? Okay.
Yeah. In the school history, okay. And I'll never forget my birthday against Tech High School. 19 years old. 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 19 years o And it was a windy, rainy day, and I threw a pass in the right corner of the end zone to Joe Gomez. The wind took it and blew it to the left corner of the end zone, and Joe Rojas turned around, caught it, touchdown. The band is playing. The cheerleaders are going nuts. Okay. We're down 59-6. So I say, let's go for 2.
Hey, I like it. I like it. I like it.
Then in basketball, I shot a lot and I scored a lot of points.
Yeah.
But I think I had 44 in one game. But that lasted like 1 year because somebody comes along real quick when you're young like that. Then in baseball, I still hold a record at North Miami. I started the first game. And to show you how much confidence our coach had in me, we had 3 guys. And big, tall right-hander named Rel Spickerman, a left-hander named Benny Pent, and me. So Coach Clark has got the baseball. First game, Miami-Jackson High School. Now, they got juniors and seniors on their team. Oh, we got sophomores. Yeah. So Coach says, boys, it's been tough to pick out who's going to start the first game in the history of North Miami High School. Throws the ball to me and he says, good luck. The first batter I face, a little guy in the box. First pitch I throw, breaking ball, strike. I say, hey, it's a piece of cake. The second pitch almost hit me right between the eyes. Just got past my head. Lee Corso.
Ooh.
This is the guy, the leadoff
Wow.
batter.
Was he any good?
He was everything in football, baseball, and basketball.
You should have hit him.
Yeah. Then he went to Florida and became, high
Yeah.
school All-American.
Yeah.
He was really good. Yeah. And I still have the record for most hit batters in the on-deck circle.
Nice.
See,
There it is.
To have it, the legend, Johnny Holiday. And we were talking about you a couple of days ago because it was, I did want to pay some tribute because there are a couple of things in Johnny that his rock and roll resume is off the charts.
Every teen queen's dream.
Every teen queen's dream.
They're starting them. We're charting them.
Like I said,
serving up the cream of the top pop crop.
See, if Tom
Elbow deep in the ballot bowl.
hadn't semi-retired, he would have been in your footsteps.
Oh yeah,
because he was a rock jock who turned into a sports jock.
Really?
Yeah.
Face for radio though.
He even had a nickname.
First Casey Kasem, right?
That's right.
Mick Malibu.
That's right. You remember that?
Yeah, that Tom went by Mick Malibu.
Mick Malibu? Okay, did you work in California?
No, it was one of those stations. Everybody had to have a MM name.
Oh yeah.
Mick Mike
Sandy Beach.
Yeah, that's right.
Rusty Knob.
That's right. So they were all MM names, and Michelle Michaels, Danny Dark. There you go. So I chose Mick Malibu, thinking they would hate it. And they go, I love it. And so I was stuck with it. For about 5 years.
How'd you like it? Loved it?
I loved rock and roll radio.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
It was fun. I did morning radio for a station called Cool 105.3 here in Lincoln. It changed many times, but yeah, I dug oldies radio.
Yeah.
I mean, I've gone back. I mean, obviously you were a TV legend. And I've gone back and watched some of the Hullabaloo era. I mean, it's so good.
So good.
Yeah.
Like we've stolen several clips.
I show it to my grandkids now, and they go, "Are you kidding me? What?
It was everything."
That's you? And I said, "Oh yeah, that's me. You sound like you're 12 years old." I said, "Well, I was only 21 or 22
right
at the time."
So let's go through. So I don't know how to give listeners who don't know your history.
Which is most of them,
right? Well, no, I mean you have fans here because I know that folks that I see around town. Because man, I just love the interviews with Johnny. But you're the MC for the Beatles when they make their first appearance. You're calling games from the sideline of the Cleveland Browns. You're in San Francisco. You're in Miami. You're hanging out with Sly Stone and look
my guy Sly.
Right? Can you tell that story of you and Sly Stone?
Yeah. Sly Stone was one of the best disc jockeys anybody could ever hear. And people don't maybe know that about him. The fact that he did 6 to 9 on K-Soul, I think it was in San Francisco, or KDIA in San Francisco. And I was at KYA, and I was on between 2 o'clock and 6 in the afternoon. And we just got to be friends. I would listen to him. He would listen to me. And so one day a record promoter says, let's have lunch with Sly Stone. I said, okay. So we have lunch together. And, you just connect with some guys and it's like you've known him for a long, long time. He says, when you get off, come up by the studio and sit in with me some night. So I went by, and Billy Preston is in the studio with him playing the organ.
Wow.
He had an organ in the studio. And then we would go out somewhere and have a little something to drink or something to eat after the show. So he says, why don't we do a TV show together? We call it Salt and Pepper. This is 1967, 68. And San Francisco wasn't ready for that. They were just in all the psychedelic stuff changing over.
Right.
So we go to the Mark Hopkins Hotel where our studios were, very uppity at that time, snooty hotel.
Right.
So nobody would wait on us. Sly's he's got the chains. He's got the outfit working for him, the big afro. I got the khaki pants, the button-down white shirt, hair parted one side.
Right.
And so we finally said to one of the waitresses, could we get some service here, please? Yeah, we'll see if we can get somebody by. So we waited another maybe 10 minutes. And Sly says, they're not going to wait on us. Let's get the hell out of here. And we did. We walked out. Never forget that.
Yeah, it's
that bothered us so much.
But you've been in those spaces so often.
Oh, yeah.
Around the country, whether it be sports or music or otherwise. And then what TV show were you on? Which there've been several, but which one were you a semi-regular?
Oh, Good Morning World.
Good Morning. Yeah. What was that like for you?
Well, that show basically was before WKRP.
Uh-huh.
Goldie Hawn was on it.
Yep.
Joby Baker was the star. Ronnie Shell, the comedian, was the star.
Hilarious.
So Ronnie and I just happened to hit it off, and he said, how'd you like to get a role in my TV show? I said, well, how are you going to do that? He said, well, I can suggest that we have a part for you, Andy McChesney. And okay. So I'm a new newsman. Billy DeWolf is the station manager.
Kind of like a Les Nessman type of guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So the whole gist of what I'm going to do is they bring me in as a new newsman, and they go back and they think about when they first got started in radio, and then I come back at the end of the show, and it's time for me to do my first newscast. And Billy DeWolf, the general manager, standing behind the glass going, you're on. And so I go, good morning, everyone. and they're shocked. And I say, hey, I was only kidding you. Then I do the news like David Brinkley.
Yeah.
Good morning from Washington. And so then they're all shocked. And that's the part that I had. Andy McChesney, new newsman.
It's always fun when I talk to Johnny, because Johnny, like even last night, we're just sharing. So in my circle in DC, Johnny's the guy that we all wanted to be. So I told him last night, my friends are sitting back in DC, and this is like a big day for them. They're celebrating. Like, this is the icons in the building. And I knew right away that Tom and Johnny would hit it off. Kindred spirits, guys who've done it. And then Johnny.
Outstanding golfers.
That's right.
Exceptional, which is where Jay comes in, right?
Right.
Because somehow I need to, I'll pay for the ticket, but we need to get you back out here to play with Jake, Jay, and Tom.
I'm all in.
Oh, yeah.
I'm all in.
Oh, yeah.
I think that needs to happen.
I mean, Johnny is, obviously he's calling Maryland football and basketball right now, but you got your start in rock and roll.
Mm-hmm.
But you must have been one of those guys that just said yes to everything. I mean, the Olympics are going on. I love some of your stories about the Olympics where you basically study for a couple of weeks about a sport that you knew nothing about.
No, not a couple of weeks, a couple of days.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
but you know what I did, Tom? One thing that I always tell young people, never say no to an assignment. Never say no. Somebody else will get that. Even if you've never done it before, if you think you can do it, you say, oh, yeah. So a lot of times people will say, they call me up and say, "You've done gymnastics, haven't you?" "Oh yeah." Yeah.
Hey, it's the old fake it till you make it, right?
I can stick the landing as well as anybody can. Sure, absolutely. I don't know anything about gymnastics. So I go out to Maryland. I sit down with a gymnastics coach. He says, "Okay, here's the video. This is called stick the landing." So I write down the yellow pad, stick the landing. Okay. The balance beam is 6 inches. Okay, 6 inches. When they do the floor exercises, they have to go to all four corners of the mat. So here I am. I'm down in Haines City, Florida, to do the National Association of Independent Gymnastics Club competition. All girls from all over the country representing clubs. I got two experts. One is the former captain at Stanford. One is the former coach at Oklahoma. They got to know within 30 seconds when I sit down to talk to them, this guy doesn't know diddly squat about our sport. But you set them up,
right.
You know. Everybody, Johnny Holiday, welcome to here with me is Nancy and Billy. Nancy, I think this book, yeah, you're right, John. Boom. Back in a minute.
Right. Didn't let him fill.
Yeah. So we do the show. I get 3 days of golf. We do the show. It's 2 hours. They edit it down to 1 hour special. I figure I had a nice time. They'll never ask me back. The next year, the phone rings. Could we speak to Mr. Gymnastics? Wow. I said, you got him. So 9 straight years I did that. And I knew nothing about it. The first baseball game I ever did was the ACC championship, NC State and Clemson. They call and say, Johnny, you've done baseball. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I've done baseball. Never. So the first play-by-play game I did in baseball, the ACC championship, my analyst was Terry Gannon and Larry Connolly, the basketball.
Right.
Both guys basketball players. Right. The second game I did was Baltimore at Cleveland in the major leagues. Never did a minor league game. At the Olympics, as Tom was saying, at the Olympics, I get the assignment sheet. I'm doing women's figure skating. I go to my boss. I said, Shelby, I grew up in Miami. I didn't skate a lot. There's not a lot of skating rinks. I don't know anything, but you can do it, can't you? Yeah. Get the hell out. Boom. Yeah.
That's called adaptability.
And also, right? It depends also, Jay, who you're working with.
Sure.
Right? Like I'm working with Carol Heiss-Jenkins, gold medalist for the United States. And she sat me down and she said, okay, here's all the blah, 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 blah. So what you want to do is lead me. I will point to Nancy Kerrigan. I will point to Tanya. So when you ask me, or you can say to me, Carol, she's pointing to Nancy Kerrigan. You like Nancy Kerrigan in the South Chow, right? Absolutely, Johnny. That's a good point. I do like.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Partnership.
We'll put a pin there. We got to go to break. Again, this might be my favorite show ever because I got all my people with me. This is fantastic. We'll toward the break. More Old School on 93.7 The Ticket. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Old School with DP and J. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
You spend more time in your garage than outdoors in the wintertime. Isn't it time to get it organized? Call Travis at Classic Garage Solutions for his variety of organization packages. Turn your garage from a cluttered mess to a clean, organized space that'll be the envy of the neighborhood and something you can be proud of. You don't need to bring the same clutter from last year into the new year. Travis has storage options for cabinets, monkey bar shelving, or slat wall, and more. Call Classic Garage Solutions today at 402-730-1638.
Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. It's soul food right here in Lincoln. Ribs, wings, catfish, coleslaw, cornbread, grits. I mean, I'd say it's food like your grandma used to make, but my grandma never made food like that. If you haven't already, you've got to give it a try. Check out their location across from South Point at 27th and Pine Lake, or find their food truck at events all over town, or visit them online at maryellens.com to see the full menu. Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. Let them fix you a plate.
The place you call home should always be a place of comfort. Warm and cozy in winter, cool and relaxing in summer. If your home isn't delivering the comfort you expect, call Bryant. It's more than just hot and cold to them. It's about providing the best comfort solutions. And Bryant gives you a full 24-month test drive on your home comfort system. Get full details at BryantLincoln.com or call 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. We do whatever it takes.
Casey's General Store is giving you the chance at winning 2 free tickets to a Nebraska home basketball game this season. Stop by any Casey's location in Lincoln throughout basketball season. Enter your name into the registration box, and you'll have a chance to win 2 tickets to an upcoming Nebraska basketball game. Every drawing will occur at least 24 hours before the game that has its selected winner. So make sure to get to any Casey's in Lincoln today for your chance at 2 free tickets for Nebraska men's basketball games.
Eustace Body Shop, where our customers send their friends. That's the greatest compliment we can receive. If you've been in an accident, we'll get you back in your vehicle as quickly as possible. Our technicians care about you and your family and repair your vehicle to factory standards. We handle your claim from start to finish and provide a free loaner car. Stop by for a free estimate. Eustace Body Shop, just south of 88th and Highway 2.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC. And things have obviously been pretty challenging lately with new vehicles, with all the microchip and supply chain issues, but things continue to loosen up as Koppel gets more and more new vehicles in each and every week. We've had many customers also custom order their vehicles. So if you don't see what you want in our current inventory, we can put an order in to get exactly what you want. So go online, reserve your new vehicle at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did.
Back to old school with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back, old school. It is a birthday celebration. It is a.
It is. It is a great birthday present right there.
It's a tribute, and the welcome back.
Yeah.
I miss my old friend. I'm glad he's showing up this morning. Tom Stevens.
Old
thank
friends?
You. Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Oh, it's man. Johnny Holiday's here.
Johnny Holiday.
I'm not gonna miss that.
Like Johnny Holiday's here.
That's the only reason Tom comes and sees us. I was telling Tom, I was like, I started coming in the morning, and then it was, say like I start on Monday. Tom was like, I'm out of here, man. I got a complex,
It's tough to do.
I put in my 10 years. I'll be back. But I couldn't miss. I mean, it was fun doing obviously a show with DP, but we started together basically during COVID.
Yeah.
And we would call Johnny, and it was like 20 minutes of gold. Like we'll just knock off 20 minutes right there.
Johnson. It was instant offense.
Yeah.
That's right. Like we were there. We were talking about your dad last night. Because I was explaining to Johnny, I'm like, well, no, the Foremans, these are DMV kids. These are DC folks. And Tom's the world's biggest Vikings fan. So so I thought, okay, this is
a couple of Maryland guys up there.
Yeah.
John Tice, Mike Tice.
Yeah, Mike Tice.
Mike Tice.
Yeah, we fall into it nicely. So there's that.
Yeah.
I do want to say, because we all share some physical nightmare stories. And Johnny shared his. Tom, of course, we know yours. So tell Johnny your story, and then I'll have Johnny tell you his, because it's mind blowing.
Well, I had 2 heart attacks, as most people who listen to this station know. First one, 2014, happened here, but I didn't know what a heart attack was, and I take fairly good care of my body, so I didn't. It's not a heart attack. I mean, there's no way. So I went home. I was like, I was working with John Gaskins at that time. I just got in my car. I'm having a heart attack on the way home, but I don't know what a heart attack is. I'm thinking, it's probably heartburn,
right?
That type of thing. My brother happened to be living with me at that time. He goes, you don't look good. I'm fine. I'm going to just take a nap. Take a nap. I'll be fine. I'll wake up, refresh. I'm not breathing.
Maybe you'll wake up.
I'm not breathing. And I just collapse. And, he's doing CPR. But he calls the ambulance. And it takes 20 minutes to get there. I'm completely blue when they get there. And they use this thing I was telling Johnny earlier, the Lucas device, which I was one of the first in the country to have it used on me. It mimics CPR. My brother, for doing it for 10 minutes, was completely exhausted. I mean, he's just
white.
collapsed on
Yeah.
the floor. They get there and they think, "Man, this guy's a goner. We'll take him to the hospital." I get there, I'm completely blue. And, even if I make it through surgery, probably going to, wake up with very little there.
Yeah.
But, somehow survived, put a stint in. About 24 hours later, they wake me up thinking, this is probably not going to go well, but he's alive, So they snap their fingers and where am I? And I'm talking to my wife now, that time my girlfriend, Heidi, and she says, "You're in the hospital." I go, "What happened?" She said, "You had a heart attack." It must have been the baked potatoes. But they thought when we wake this guy up, he's going to be, gone.
Right.
And they realized after that conversation I was.
Wow.
But
you are lucky.
And then had another heart attack 2018.
Yeah.
2018. But feel great.
Same part of the heart?
Yeah, that time they did a quadruple bypass. Again, that time had it at the station. Jake Sorensen takes me to the hospital. He, instead of going to the emergency room or the emergency part, he takes me through the front door.
Oh, Jake.
We walk in there together. I'm having a heart attack. We're trying to check in. And there's this old guy making time with the receptionist. He's like, "Hey, how you doing? How you doing?" And I'm like, "Heart attack." But so they finally get me up there and I'm starting to feel better. But the alarm goes off and all these nurses are rushing. I'm thinking,
this isn't good.
It must be that guy over there. Because I feel great. They go, "What's the deal with all this?" They go, "This is you, buddy. You're having a major one." And so made it, but I'm still around. You can't get rid of me. You can't get rid of me.
Johnny's story is a plane crash.
Incredible. What happened there?
Plane crashed.
There you go. I mean, one of those like small.
Yeah, Cessna 172. And I'd read a story in the Washington Post about this little old lady in Livingston, Virginia, lived at the top of the mountain in a log cabin. This is December of 1974.
Right.
The story comes out by Ken Ringel of the Washington Post, who got a Pulitzer Prize for writing this story. It's about the mountain people of down in Southern Virginia, in Livingston, and a flood. Waters came down the mountain, washed away homes, washed away people, drowned. This little old lady has a gigantic rock behind her log cabin. It's like a made-for-Disney television movie. The water's coming down the mountain, hit the rock, and go around the house, and she's saved. And she was 91 years old. So I read the story, and I called Ken Ringel. I said, "Hey, I think I'd like to." I see she just had a phone put in. I'd like to call this lady and put her on the air. I'm doing the morning show at WWDC in Washington. And he said, "Let me tell you something. She's very proud, doesn't need any kind of sympathy. So I would call and talk to her about her life. And it's incredible. That's all I'm going to tell you." So I called her up, put her on the air. We're talking. And I said, "Miss Dora, I'd like to come down and visit with you sometime. Come on down. Come on down." I said, "Okay." And so the next day when I come to work, there are boxes of clothing and food for this lady. And we get so much, we have to charter a plane to take us down there. So my daughter, who was 11 at the time, is with me. We fly to Lynchburg. The Red Cross meets us. So she'd given us instructions how to get to her log cabin. You go up 29. You turn at the abandoned feed house. You go up this dirt road. There's a tree across the road. Go around the tree to the next intersection. There's an abandoned gas station. You turn left. You keep on going to the top of. That's where we are. And sure enough, that's exactly the way it turned out. We get up to the top of the mountain, a little log cabin, smoke coming from it. And she's on the front steps with a little apron, little knit hat on, a stick in her hand, and like 17 dogs and cats running around. And she wasn't about to come off the top of that step. And we weren't about to go up on that step. So we're talking, and I finally said, "Miss Dora, we have some things here for you that I'd like to drop off to you from all the people of Washington who read the story in the paper." "Well, All right, come on in. And she's got like a flashlight. Takes us inside the log cabin. And I see something go across the floor. Don't worry about that's Freddie the skunk. Don't worry about Freddie. He ain't gonna bother anybody. And there are boxes of clothing and food and gifts from floor to ceiling in this big room. And I said, well, I see some other people have sent you some things. Yeah, I don't know why people are doing this. And I said, have you ever been to Washington? Nope. I see you got a birthday card from the president. I don't even know him. He don't know me. I mean, it was incredible. So it comes time to leave. And I said, Miss Dora. Oh, my daughter says to me, Daddy, I have to go to the bathroom. So I said, Miss Dora, could Tracy use your bathroom? Sure. Comes down off the steps, takes her around. It's an outhouse. This is 1975 now. Outhouse. Tracy comes back and I said, where'd you go? I'm not sure. It was just a little house. So on the way back, the guy is going to land at Hyde Field in Clinton. And it's a windy night and the plane's coming down toward the runway. And he said, I think I'm going to take it around again. He was having trouble controlling the plane. So I reached back in the back and I tightened Tracy's seatbelt. And the next thing I know, I'm in an ambulance. No recollection of anything. And there's an ambulance attendant. She's got a compress over my nose and my face. And she said, you just have a scratch on your nose. We're just trying to stop the bleeding. I said, my nose feels like it's behind my left ear. Take me to the hospital. And first of all, they contact my wife. I couldn't remember my number. My daughter's okay. They check her out. So I've got a broken nose. I've got some hand lacerations and a little discomfort in my stomach. Not bad, though. And they get a hold of my wife, and they said, your daughter and your husband have been in a plane accident. They're at Southeast Community Hospital. And she says, what's their condition? We're not at liberty to give that information out. So she said, I'm not going to drive all that distance from here to there and not knowing what condition my daughter and husband are in. So she calls another doctor friend of mine. He says, get him out of that hospital. I'll transfer him to Sibley. I'll go to Sibley. Where's the picture? You got any pictures? What kind of pictures? They took x-rays of your stomach and all. No. Okay. Puts me to bed, sets the nose, 7:00 in the morning. Joe Theismann's in the room with me, a couple of other Redskins, and we're talking and we're joking it up, and I'm a little sore, but that's about all. So doctor pops in and says, Johnny, we got a little problem. So can you guys excuse us for a few minutes? Your blood count is way up there. So we think your spleen is ruptured. We're going to take out the spleen. So 30 days later, I leave the hospital. 30 days. And this doctor basically saved my life. And all of a sudden, like you, Tom, you think back and you say, man, I am so lucky, because how many times do you read about a small plane goes down in a Nebraska cornfield or an Iowa cornfield and a family of 5 is wiped out? Like that, you're either here or you're not here. And you change your priorities a little bit of what you're going to do, how you're going to live your life and do things. And it's just a strike of just a fate that I was saved, basically.
You have no memory of the actual crash of like, this is going down, this could be bad.
Nope. No, nothing at all.
Remarkable.
No,
that's crazy.
And thank goodness I didn't.
Yeah,
I don't need that memory. We'll throw it to break here. We've got 2 segments to get in, but that's why I wanted to have this conversation.
That's pretty that's amazing.
To move things. Stay tuned. Johnny Halliday, Tom Stevens, Jay Foreman, and myself, Rico, man on the board. Thank you guys for listening. We'll be right back to Old School on 93.7 The Ticket.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What are you doing, Sip? I thought the chickens could use some more light in their lives. So you're building what exactly? It's a motion censored switchboard. Duh. Are you sure you know what you're doing?
Of course.
Oh, God. Ow. Seems like a job for a professional.
Just one more wire. Yep, there you go, right there.
Don't be like Sip. Call Joe at Ambition Electric for any of your electric needs at 402-217-3415.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again and they're hiring for production operators at $22.07 per hour and other select jobs starting at $23.77 per hour, with wages growing up to $29.71 per hour. Continental also has salaried jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
There's not many things worse than having plumbing issues at your home or business, but it's even worse if the problem isn't fixed correctly. Select Plumbing gets it right the first time, and they specialize in several things: general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate at 402-560-6197. Plus, they're hiring service plumbers. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
Are you tired of lousy internet and faceless customer service? It's time to experience local, honest, hassle-free, and exceptional. That's the Allo Promise. We not only provide crazy fast fiber internet, crystal clear TV, and dependable phone service, but we choose to become a part of the communities that we serve and love when everyone calls or stops by our store to say hello. So don't settle for mediocre, settle for exceptional with Allo. Visit us at allofiber.com/local.
You can search online for hours to find the best electricians in Lincoln and the surrounding area, but I'll save you time. iElectric has been serving their customers for 30 years for both residential and commercial properties. They're experts in everything electrical, from remodeling to new additions, hot tub installations, electric vehicle chargers or EV chargers, lighting, ceiling fans, and more. iElectric takes jobs from Beatrice to Omaha and all towns, big or small, in between. Call them today at 402-466-6606 or learn more at highelectric.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by Security First Bank, a relationship you can count on.
Sunny, breezy, but very mild. We'll top out at 58. A west-northwest wind could gust over 25 at times. We'll see mainly clear skies tonight with a low dropping down to 16. Cooler tomorrow, a high of around 46, but by Sunday, we could be right back into the 60s. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC. And things have obviously been pretty challenging lately with new vehicles, with all the microchip and supply chain issues, but things continue to loosen up as Koppel gets more and more new vehicles in each and every week. We've had many customers also custom order their vehicles. So if you don't see what you want in our current inventory, we can put an order in to get exactly what you want. So go online, reserve your new vehicle at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did.
Back to old school with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back. Yeah, we'll go to about 50 here. Johnny Holiday, Tom Stevens, Jay Foreman. The talk is Maryland basketball, Nebraska basketball. Maryland's program changing of the guard as far as coaches are concerned. As soon as that, as the season evolved here, the name that kept popping up was your friend, Mark Turgeon.
Right.
What's going on in the Maryland program? How would you define that in a 5-minute?
I think everybody was only
need more than
how much
5.
time?
Right. Yeah.
Right.
5 minutes.
I think everybody was shocked that Coach Turgeon decided to step down. He wasn't forced out.
Just burn out.
Yeah, he was burnt out basically. Yeah, and I don't know the inside of what happened, nor is it my
right.
Yeah, but I think what happened, every kid in the team was shocked that this just happened because he recruited everybody.
Yeah,
and then when Danny Manning, who'd been hired by him last April as his assistant coach, is given the interim job, and that's his best friend.
Yeah,
played together at Kansas. Danny was coached by Mark in his grad assistant year. It's probably Mark calling right now.
Yeah. That's his dad. His dad. Hey, didn't know you were in town.
Right now,
Sorry about that. Didn't know you were in town, Johnny.
Yeah. So it's been a very tough time. I don't think any school should have to go through this. They did go through it. They're doing the best they can. Maryland's had some great wins. They knocked off Illinois, now number 13 in the country.
Mm-hmm.
They played Michigan State down to the final possession, lost by 2. Then last game out, they played a heck of a ball game and lost to, Purdue, the number 3 team in the country, by 1 in the final 7 seconds. So
Right.
they've proven that it just takes one win to get this monkey off their back of losing. And Coach Manning, like any coach, moral victories is not in his vocabulary. It's nice to play, but you got to get a win. And Jay knows this.
Right, yeah.
Winning cures everything.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to have a search. They're having a search right now at the end of the year to announce who the next coach will be. Who has any idea?
Right.
A lot of big names are tossed about. But I know one thing, whoever gets the job, they're in a great market with Washington, Baltimore. The fan base is absolutely tremendous. We won the national championship 20 years ago this year. So when Gary was coaching, you couldn't get a ticket. Early days of Mark Turgeon, you couldn't get a ticket. When you start losing, things are tougher.
You think the Big Ten has hurt them a little bit?
I think it was very uncomfortable, Tom, when they announced the move from the ACC to the Big Ten. It's a whole different ballgame. ACC is a great conference. Big Ten is a greater conference with more difficult competition, more athleticism with the players, especially in football.
Right.
Football is really tough. We got to play Ohio State. We got to play Michigan State, Michigan, Penn State, all in our division. But Mike Loxley's getting there.
Right.
If anybody's going to get it done, he's going to get it done. So whoever gets this job, it's a plum job, a great job. And David Evans, the athletic director, is going to pick what he thinks is the best guy available that can take us right back to where we should be.
What do you think the first thing that the new eventual coach of Maryland has to do? Is it locking down that DMV area as far as recruiting?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that's huge. I mean, you know it, from all the players that come. I mean, it's never, you're never going to go without top notch talent. So is that a big deal to kind of cement Maryland as the school to go to?
I think, you don't want to see a kid leave Bishop O'Connell and wind up as the leading scorer at Michigan State.
Right.
Or a kid like Hunter Dickinson go from DeMatha to Michigan.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, why couldn't we get that kid to stay here? And I think that's a good point. The new guys got to convince the guys in the area, stay at Maryland. The academic program is tremendous. The job opportunities after college, fabulous.
Right.
Because everybody wants to go to the NBA.
Right.
Everybody's not going to go to the NBA. No, you're going to have to go out and work for a living. And I think the new coach has also got to instill upon the fan base. It's not going to happen overnight.
Right.
Okay. It may take a year, it may take 2 years, but we're going to get this thing right back where it should be and make it one of the premier programs in the country. Look what Lefty did. Look what Gary Williams did. The all-time one, 2 Hall of Fame coaches. So it can be done with the right guy, leading the program.
This is where we were having a conversation of the similarities between programs, where they stand now, and the issues that they have.
Sure.
We'll throw it to break. We'll close out this show with that conversation of what's going on with the program, the roster as it currently stands, and the matchup that folks are going to see tonight at PVA. Johnny Holiday, Tom Stevens, Jay Foreman, Old School. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Old School with DP and J. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. It's soul food right here in Lincoln. Ribs, wings, catfish, coleslaw, cornbread, grits. I mean, I'd say it's food like your grandma used to make, but my grandma never made food like that. If you haven't already, you've got to give it a try. Check out their location across from South Point at 27th and Pine Lake, or find their food truck at events all over town, or visit them online at maryellens.com to see the full menu. Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. Let them fix you a plate.
The place you call home should always be a place of comfort. Warm and cozy in winter, cool and relaxing in summer. If your home isn't delivering the comfort you expect, call Bryant. It's more than just hot and cold to them. It's about providing the best comfort solutions. And Bryant gives you a full 24-month test drive on your home comfort system. Get full details at BryantLincoln.com or call 467-1111. Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. We do whatever it takes.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again and they're hiring for production operators at $22.07 per hour and other select jobs starting at $23.77 per hour, with wages growing up to $29.71 per hour. Continental also has salaried jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
At Buffalo Wings and Rings, they've crafted a new league of superior chicken sandwiches. Meet the Ringers. It's premium, house-made, beer-battered, fried chicken served buffalo, Korean, or MVP style. Head to Buffalo Wings and Rings Lincoln and raise a glass to superior chicken. 2 locations at 68th and O and at 40th and Old Cheney. Buffalo Wings and Rings.
Did you know that the U.S. has added over 1,100 new breweries in the last 18 months? Learn more by shopping at Myers Cork and Bottle, 13th and South, and by tuning in to Thirsty Thursdays with Kevin Myers, because sports are better with a drink in your hand and a friend at your side.
This is Old School on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back. Final segment of Old School. The legend, Johnny Holiday. The legend, Tom Stevens. The legend, Dave Foreman. And me.
No, wait a minute. Now.
And me.
Wait a minute.
So,
One
of these things
did
is
coach Chris Knocky's kid.
I did. I got him to a winning season. So there's that. There's that. How about that? It's spectacular. So we were talking last night about this roster. Is Maryland healthy going into tonight's game?
No.
Okay. How do you expect? Give Nebraska the cliff notes for tonight's game. What to watch from the Maryland Terrapins?
Fats Russell,
okay,
the point guard. Kid is tremendous. The quickest guard in the Big Ten is Fats Russell. Always plays with a smile, always plays up-tempo. The kid hates to lose. Had a Maryland high of 24 points the last game. Had a career high of 9 rebounds. He's maybe 5'10", 9 rebounds, led everybody in rebounding for Maryland against Purdue.
Wow.
And kept us in that game. Watch for him. Dante Scott, who's a double-figure scorer.
Really good shooter.
Eric Ayala, the leading scorer, has got that bad wrist. And in talking to him on Coach's show the other night, he said, I don't know if I can play or not. He missed the last game, and we lose by 1. So the bench, they got 3 guys that come off the bench that are very, very good. One kid, Julian Reese, his sister is the key to the women's team. A double-double every game for her.
Yeah.
And she's a sophomore. He's a freshman. He's tremendous off the bench. And the key is going to be, if Ayala plays, that's going to really help him. If he doesn't, then they have to make some adjustments.
You're describing Fats, and it sounds like Verge.
Yeah.
So I think that's...
We have to check out the shot selection, but yeah. But I like the name, though.
Yeah.
That's a little bit of old school name.
But there's not an ounce of fat on this kid.
Right.
I said, where'd you get the nickname? I was a chubby baby. I said, well, chubby baby, you're not a chubby baby
you're not
anymore.
you're not a chubby kid. You're not a chubby young
just
adult.
The greatest. I mean, you'd love to have a kid like this in your family.
Yeah.
Great kid.
We talked about that. Both of these are teams of really nice kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. These are the nice kids.
Not a bad
and maybe
kid
that's part of the problem.
Right. Like this is what we talked about, that you need a dog. You need a guy. Yeah. The great Maryland teams all had that guy.
Oh, yeah.
You
well,
know?
the national
Lonnie
championship
Baxter.
team had. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, Lonnie, you ain't come down the lane playing with Lonnie Baxter, man. I'm telling you.
6'7" playing center in the ACC and a national champion.
Yeah, 280, and he was hammer time when you come down that bad boy.
That's right.
Chris Wilcox.
Yeah.
Taj Holden. Yeah. Steve
Last
Blake.
year's team was not a big team. This is not a big team either, right?
No, not a big team at all. No, he goes small a lot. I mean, Danny Manning goes small because they're very quick.
Yeah,
very quick. And once they get on a roll, they'll go on a 10 against Purdue. We were down by 3 at halftime. We scored the first 12 points of the second half. Purdue didn't score for the first 4 minutes. We're up by 12 with 11 minutes to play.
Yeah.
And
sounds familiar, don't it?
Yeah, couldn't quite hold on to it.
Sounds familiar, don't it? Yeah.
We've made that comparison. Maryland basketball, Husker football.
Yeah.
Both have won national titles. And I think the fan base expects them to be they're still in the fan base's mind. That's a blue blood.
And Maryland football and Nebraska basketball.
Yeah.
But when you think about it, as far as like when we talked about recruiting, the big thing for Nebraska, obviously local, and then obviously with Maryland, there is a lot of similarities there. You know what I'm saying, as far as making sure you keep the guys home, especially when they go on and play well other places. So that's a huge task for any program starting over.
I hope they get it right. Listen, Johnny, I know you've got to get to the shoot around.
Yeah.
I appreciate you so much. Thank you for a career that's worth following, worth holding the standard. Thank you for getting this fan base through a pandemic by just offering yourself. Thank your wife. Thank you for letting Johnny come play with us.
Jay, my wife would come in and she'd say to me, what do you talk about to those guys for 30 minutes for the last year every Monday? I said, I don't really know. Whatever they want to talk about.
We never knew.
It was great.
Tom Stevens, love you. Thank you.
I miss you guys.
So good to have you back.
Can I play the bed going out? Do you guys play the bed going out?
You can play the bed going out. We'll get us out of there. There we go. That lets us know we're getting out of
Tom,
here.
Stay well.
Thanks.
Next trip in golf.
Yeah.
Golf. This has to happen.
Absolutely. That's where I'm headed after this show.
I had no doubt. Johnny, I'll see you down at PBA. Tom, I'll stop by as well. I know where your seats are.
Happy birthday, Jay.
Happy birthday, Jay Foreman. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere.
36. That's great.
36,
One-on-one with DP is next. Don't go anywhere. 93.7 The Ticket.